Evening YouTube, Parson Rick here. Got a VR for Padre Piper. He wanted to know what we wanted to be when we grew up and how far away did we hit that mark. Something like that anyway. Well, when I was a little tyke, I wanted to be an astronaut or a jet fighter pilot. And grew up on tales of daring do and adventure. The sky is over Germany, and a lot of science fiction about space people and stuff like that. I always thought that'd be worthwhile and pretty darn cool to do. But then cruel fate gave me these. And back in those days, you couldn't be a pilot if you didn't have perfect 20/20 vision. And so that dream kind of slid, and still wanted to do something in aviation, and time went by, and when I graduated high school, I had the opportunity to go to any military academy I chose. I had a congressional appointment waiting for me from Senator Mark Hatfield back in the day. Well, in all my 18-year-old good thinking, I just missed being drafted for Vietnam by just the skin of my teeth. And I said, oh, nobody's, spider. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I'm not going to, march lockstep. And so I declined and ended up going to the local community college for a couple years until I got tired of working and going to school. So I went just straight working, and one day I was working at a mill pulling on the green chain. If you don't know what that is, good for you. And I just called the foreman over and I said, how much notice do you need for me to leave? And he goes, oh, what are you going to go do? And just out of the blue, I said, I'm going to go in the Air Force. I had given it no thought whatsoever. That was just the first thing out of my mouth. And he goes, oh, great. I hate seeing young guys, work here in the mill, and blah, blah, blah. So I did. I went down and I signed up for the Air Force. Well, at that time, 1983, I was 25, and computers, electronics were starting to go pretty good, and I wanted to do that. And long story short, they didn't have the opportunity for me to do that, but eventually they came up with an electrician slot. And my can I have my lighter back, please? Wife's borrowed the lighter. Where was I? Oh, yes. They offered me a slot as an electrician. And I thought that was pretty good. One of my dad's best friends was an electrician, and my great uncle was an electrician, and they both made good money and had interesting lives and lots of toys. So it immediately appealed to me. And I can't honestly say that before my first day as an electrician, I had even changed a light bulb. So by then I was married, and so I went in the Air Force, and wife and I were sent down to California and did my training there. And then when I was due to get out, there wasn't an opening for me, so I got out and I came up to Oregon and got my electrical license and worked in the mills for 9 years as an electrician, for 7 years, and nine years I was a contractor. During that first 7-year stint, wife and I had 4 kids, and I Earned a couple of associate's degrees and a bachelor's in business administration, which I have never used other than as general principles. Did a 12-year stint for the city as a traffic signal guy, and that was fascinating work. Now I'm back in the mills, electrical again. Basically, for 35 years, I've been an electrical troubleshooter, and I enjoy it quite a bit. It's fun work. Also, you get to look like a hero. And when something breaks, you get a little blast of adrenaline. Originally, when I went to college right after high school, I went to be a teacher because I've always loved teaching and telling people stuff. And so I did a couple years of that, and I just burned myself out. I was working at the college. I was taking a minimum of 20 credits a term. I've got tons of credits, and I was wrestling for the college team. So it just seemed like I was at the college all the time. And eventually I got kind of burned out. I got tired of paying my way, and my classmates, not to be unkind, but they didn't seem to be the best and the brightest. Yeah, it's still a little wet. So I kind of gave up on teaching, and I went to school. I tried engineering, but the magic math never made any sense to me, and I passed it, but I didn't understand it. I could make it work. I was already working as an electrician. I could do it. I just couldn't think it. And so I got the degree in business, and all I ever learned is I didn't care for business at all. A little lighter I got at the Peterson store in Dublin. It works most of the time. When it does work, it gives a good soft flame, and it's got all the tools down here built in. Anyway, so my pursuit of a degree, while it was satisfying, and I would sure like to grab a couple more. I'd like to study some other things, but I'd like to, but I'm not inclined to. And been on a lifelong learning spin. I've got hundreds of opportunities to teach. I've taught in the prisons, taught in the churches. Just got back from a Bible study, and so I kind of get my teaching Jones out. I've had a number of apprentices that I've journeyed out, and that's pretty satisfying to actually be able to train people and then see them go to work and see them have a good life, and been pretty satisfying on that account. Not all of them are appreciative, but the ones that are make it worthwhile. So that's what I'm doing. I didn't end up a teacher. I didn't end up a jet fighter pilot. I didn't end up an astronaut. Got to be a cowboy for a while. Get to ride motorcycles. Get to smoke pipes. There's one of the things I always thought when I was a younger, that someday when I was a codger, curmudgeon more accurately, that I would smoke a pipe, that I would affect a pipe. It was kind of an affectation. Well, there's one childhood dream come true. And I've got a pretty good life. I've got a good wife, good kids, good job, and not a good job, but it's a job I enjoy. I do what I enjoy doing, and the circumstances around it aren't that important. So, Padre Piper, I hope that suits you. And I do not yet know what I'm going to be when I grow up. I've got some ideas. We'll just see. I haven't been broken enough to force me into another line of work. That's not a challenge, but we'll see what happens. Good night. God bless. Parson Rick out.